Hey everybody, it's Mr. Davis again, here for another draw along. So, if you'd like to draw, now is a good time to find a piece of paper and a pencil and an eraser, whatever you got laying around. And I'm trying to think up a theme for today. I'm trying to think up what to draw. First I'm going to sharpen my pencil here. And I think today I want to come up with my very own Pokemon. Now, we used to do some projects in class that had to do with Pokemon or side projects that might have to do with them. It's a great way to practice drawing animals and parts of animals and coming up with your own characters. Very creative practice. So I'm sure a lot of you can come up with your own without any of my help, but if you want to follow along with me, that's fine too. So the first thing I usually think about when I'm trying to do something like this is maybe where it might live. I can think of some Pokemon that are electric, that are fiery, that are kind of stormy, but I can't think of a lot of them that are kind of icy. So I think I might pick one that's kind of icy. So I might come up with where it lives first. So maybe this Pokemon is kind of hanging out on a block of ice. So maybe I start with my big ice block here. And I'm doing it really light in pencil because I know I'm going to erase some of this later, but I've got a nice ice block here. And I can draw the water below. Sometimes when I'm still thinking, still getting my creative juices going, I like to work on the background a little bit. So got some water, maybe it's a piece of ice out in the cold water in the Arctic. So I got that going on. I'm gonna make my block a little taller because I don't want it to be a flat piece of ice. So sometimes when I make things taller, I just draw little lines down like this. That makes it look taller. So now we got a nice big ice block floating in the water. I'll do a little more water behind it. And now I'm going to come up with my Pokemon. So if it's icy, I'm thinking of icicles, I'm thinking of snowballs, I'm thinking of snowflakes. Maybe I could incorporate some of that stuff into my Pokemon. So maybe I start out with a nice round head. Sometimes I make the shape over and over again. If I draw light enough, that's okay because I can just erase all the lines later. So I've got a nice round head. I've got, I don't know why I'm thinking of kind of like a cat shape, but I'm gonna do a couple legs in the front. So rectangle shaped legs, maybe make them a little bit far apart like that. And then if it's a cat shape, I'm thinking kind of a round body for the back. So another oval shape or circle shape. All right, we got a couple legs in the front. We need some back legs. Usually when cats are kind of sitting down like this, their legs either kind of come behind their front legs like that, or maybe they could be in front. But I think that looks pretty good. Maybe another leg over here. That's a good cat shape. I can always adjust it later. And now I'm gonna come up with a tail. Maybe my tail is kind of falling off the ice block a little bit. It's almost splashing in the water. So just this kind of snake shape for a tail. A couple pointy lines. All right, I like where it's going so far. I'm trying to think of those shapes we were talking about. So if it's cat-like, it could have pointy ears, but I'm thinking, you know, this is a Pokemon. We don't want it to look exactly like an animal. So what might I change to make it look kind of magical? So I might change the ears. Maybe I make them look a little bit like snowflakes. Let's see if we can do that. So I'm gonna make some really big ears because it's a Pokemon. It's creative, I can do whatever I want. Some nice big ears. And then if I wanted it to look like a snowflake, I think what I might do is I might do another triangle like this to start. Ears can go however you like, and I might make a triangle going the other way. Kind of like that. Remember, we can erase all our pencil lines later. So I'll do the same on the other side. A nice big triangle. Kind of like that. And another one going the other way. Now I'm not going to go over all those lines with my markers later, but I think they look pretty cool. Okay, so now let's get to the eyes. When I do eyes for Pokemon, I've seen a lot of really great eyes. Some of them are just tiny little beady eyes. Some of them are really big, what they call anime eyes, which Japanese artists use in their comics. I kind of like those. I think those are pretty cute. So I'm going to go with some big, bright, shiny eyes. I don't really like that shape though for the inside of the eyes. So I'm going to change it. You can always change stuff as an artist, especially if you draw light. I don't really like those eyes. I like big bright eyes, but I think I might make kind of a different shape. This is what I would call like an arch shape. Like that. And then maybe a line at the bottom for where the cheeks are. So a nice big round arch. And a couple lines for the cheeks. Alright. Now, I'm gonna do its nose. Cat's noses, if you look really carefully, a lot of them look like triangles. That's the shape I usually use. And I think if this cat's hanging out in the Arctic, it might be kind of a stoic sort of Pokemon, so I don't think I'm gonna make it too excited. I think I like the big eyes, but I think just a small little mouth like that will do just great for me. I really like the ears, and so I might even add some kind of zigzag shapes to the end of the tail. I like the pointiness. I think I'm gonna do a diamond on the end of the tail, and then this kind of zigzag lines. I think that looks cool. Now, I forgot this round shape for where the foot, or where the leg would be on my, I don't want to call it a Pokecat. It just doesn't sound right. And maybe I could have some of these spikes on its back too. Zigzag line, simple as that. Now, I feel like to walk in the ice, it probably needs some pretty sharp little claws, so I'm going to add some sharp claws here. Gotta be pretty ferocious to live in the Arctic, I think. Here we go, and now I still have to do the inside of the eye. So I'm going to make that same arch shape on the inside. And if you leave a circle blank, it's going to look like the eye is shiny. A lot of you already know that trick. Some of you don't. Sometimes you can even put a couple circles in there, leave it shiny. Now this Pokemon looks kind of surprised, and I think part of it is because we don't have eyebrows yet. If I want it to seem less surprised, I might make some eyebrows to make it look maybe like it knows what it's doing out here on the ice block. So there we go. I kind of like a little pointiness at the top. Now, we didn't quite get to add any icicles anywhere. Trying to think of where we could add them. Ooh, the whiskers. So maybe some icicles for the whiskers, just a few triangle shapes. There we go. Like that. Nice. Now, it's probably kind of rough out here where it lives. The weather's probably kind of rough, so I'm going to add some swirling wind. Just some swirly lines. They can go however you like. Yours don't have to look like mine. But I like that swirly wind. If I turn these into coloring sheets, I always like to have some cool stuff going on in the background. Makes it a little more exciting to color, I think. Okay, I think we're ready for marker. Now today I brought a couple different markers. Again, if you have these at home, that's great. Feel free to use them. If you don't worry about it. Maybe you could erase some of your lines and color it in. Or just save your pencil drawing. Those are awesome too. So I have a couple Sharpies. I also have kind of a thicker art marker, sort of like a Sharpie. And then I have this one, which is a really interesting marker. I don't know if you can see it, but it's called a brush tip marker. So it kind of mimics a paintbrush a little bit. So the harder I press down, the bigger my lines are gonna get. And I'm just gonna go right over those pencil lines. Being careful, going slow. I spent so much time on my drawing, I don't want to ruin it now, so I know it's exciting to get through it, but I gotta go slow. Nice and slow. Taking your time with art is nice too, because it's just relaxing. So I'm gonna push here. Push. See how that line gets nice and thick the more I push? That's what I really like about this kind of marker. Can't forget this back leg in here. There we go. Okay. Just going over those lines. I really like that tail. I like the pointy tail. Kind of looks icy. Okay. Gotta do the head. And remember, on the ears, I'm not going over every line. I could, but I don't know if I would like the look of it. I can always add more later. I'm going to go around the icicles for now because I'm going to do those with a little bit of a thinner marker for more details. probably do it with this one, but I like saving the thin Sharpie for the details. The eyes, the nose, the mouth. I think this block is nice and big and chunky, so maybe I'll try a different marker for that one. Let's try this one. So this one's a lot like a Sharpie. Big, thick lines. Okay. I think probably most of the rest of this I'm gonna do with my thin Sharpie or my brush pen. So let's start with the eyes and eyebrows. I do really like how the eyes turned out. To leave those those circles you left in there blank, because that's going to create the shiny part of the eye. If you chose to draw those, I'm going to leave them blank. Still haven't figured out what I want to do with the ears, but I think I want to have kind of an inside part of the ear, so I'm making kind of a zigzaggy triangle. Cats and dogs have that inner part. Do the icicle whiskers. Okay, got that. Now I am going to use this one to color in the eyes just because it's kind of hard coloring around those circles. But you can see it really makes that eye kind of stand out now with the shine. I know we haven't seen each other for a little while, but I cannot wait to see if you guys take up this Pokemon challenge, what you come up with, because I know a lot of you are pretty enormous fans. Alright, I think we've got most things done. Just got to do the water and the wind. Sometimes when I'm using my little marker too, I like to add little extra details that I just thought about, you know, like I could add some little chunks of ice here, some little cracks, just to show that it's really an ice block, ice cracks. So I might add these little cracks. You know, if you're confident and you don't think you're gonna ruin your drawing, add some cool things. Maybe some little snowflakes on the ground. Maybe a couple cracks on the top. The letter Y makes a pretty good crack. Just saying. That's what I like to use. Some snowflakes. Looks good, looks good. I could make my Pokemon a little shaggier by adding some fur texture. Little lines like this. I don't have to do the whole thing, but might make it look kind of nice. Maybe some down on its underbelly. There we go. I could add a little bit of that on the inside of the ear, show that it's furry. Okay, and then I think here I might add some kind of up and down lines to just make it look like the ears are kind of like crystal almost. You know, just add some lines to make it look like they have a little more shape to them. Maybe I'll even add a couple shine lines to the top. Got some shine lines, beautiful. Okay, maybe I'll do that to the tail too. Just add a few extra lines, make it look a little more crystally. Maybe some shine lines at the end would look cool. Details, details. I love the details. I think I'm going to use my brush pen for the rest of it, and then I'm going to erase. Yeah, that's pretty nice for the wind. I think I like that. Maybe I can use both. It's just a little hard to make a loopy line with the brush pen. Yeah, I think I'm gonna switch it up. Fun thing about trying new tools like the brush pen is some of them just work really well for some things, and you know, you find that they don't work so well for other things, and that's okay. If you are doing these drawings during your time off of school, you are going to get really, really good at drawing, because you're going to be using your imagination, be trying new techniques. You're going to be sharp when you come back. Just got to do my water, and then I think I'm all set. Just going over those wavy lines. You know, you might get creative and add a fish in the water, or I don't know what you'd find out in the Arctic. Beluga whale? Maybe? I don't know. So this is a new eraser I want to show you today. This thing, you can mold it in your hand like silly putty, and it's or Play-Doh, and it is called the kneaded rubber eraser. The reason why I really like it is because it's soft and gentle on your paper. It doesn't leave any eraser shavings. All those little bits that you wipe off when you erase, it doesn't leave any of those. So it just really gently erases your pencil marks. leaves you nice marker drawing or pen drawing or whatever you went with today. I'm sure yours turned out awesome. I'd love to see it. If I can't see it before the next time I see you, that's too bad, but I will try to maybe set up a way to see your pictures. Maybe I can see what you came up with. I'll get brainstorming. I'll get thinking. But here we go. We got our icicle whiskers. Last line here, I think. Okay. There we go. It's all done. It's all erased. It's all creative. I'm sure your imaginations are bigger than mine. You probably came up with some really cool stuff. Or if you went with mine, I hope you got some good practice in. It was fun drawing with you. I'll see you next time. I hope to draw with you again soon, and keep drawing, and I'll catch you soon. All right, bye-bye.